Hey everyone, welcome back to Festool Fest, the show that celebrates Festool, Festoolings, and the Festooliverse. Here at the Festool Fest, we're always looking for ways to get better value out of our money while getting the maximum from our tools. If you happen to have a CT extractor, you know that they make a separator called the CTV-A20 that costs now in 2025 $450. Last year was $420, now it's $450, and you know what? That's a lot of money. I've got the CT MIDI. Now, if you buy the CT MIDI bags, they cost $28 for 5 bags, which I don't think is a terrible amount of money. Now, at $420, I calculated that if I'm using bags at a rate of 1 bag for every 2 months of use, for me to spend $420 in bags would bring me somewhere out to $2035 or maybe $2032. Either way, that's a long time away from now. I will probably have a new extractor by that point. So the question is it really worth it to buy the separator? I actually have a rigid 14-gallon shop vac, and I also have the dust topper. So that actually handles a lot of my shop vacuuming as well as a lot of the bigger particulate handling, like on the planer, on the jointer, things like that. So I'm not really running the CT MIDI that heavily. I'm really just leaving it for sanding, for using the domino, smaller tasks that have smaller particulates. However, after using the dust topper, I do think there's a great benefit from having a separator on your vacuums, because then you can just kind of utilize it. Now, there are a couple companies that make separators. Oneida makes a version of their Dust Deputy that goes on top of the CT MIDI, but I gotta be honest here, it's a lot cheaper than the Festool version, but it's kind of ugly. Like this big black thing, it just doesn't look very nice. But when it comes to Festool, there's not too many options out there unless you design your own or go on Facebook Marketplace. So fast forward a little bit, I found this guy who was like, hey, I got this CTV-A20. I bought it because I wanted to use it for dust collection, and then I realized it wasn't what I wanted, so I went out and bought it. He bought a big Oneida, I don't know, King Cobra or something like that. We were able to talk about it and then finally settle on a price of $250. So I met up with him and I picked it up. And here it is. This is the Festool CTV-A20 Cyclone Separator. One of the things I'm a little bit disappointed with is that this whole CTV-A20 is designed on the older T-Lock series. Not that that's a bad thing, but now we've been in, the Sys3 generation of Systainers for like at least 5 years. So I would have thought that they would have updated this to be a Sys3. They haven't yet. I don't know why. I guess it works well enough. But I just like having everything Sys3, but it should work and it should be perfectly fine. So let's go over the componentry that's in here to see exactly what you're getting for your $450 some. Now it comes basically with 2 halves. There's the lower half that the tub sits in, and then these straps. On the other side, there's the same thing. Pull down here, pull these cleats off the bottom, and that's going to release the 3 components: the base, bin, and then there's the top lid that has the Cyclone Separator. And on this face, they have 2 ports from the Cyclone down to your vac, and then from your hose comes in here. So we take that off, and we'll see that we've got this hose. This is the connection hose that you use to run from the top of the Cyclone into your CT extractor. And then of course it has this bin, and you can see there's a little bit of sawdust in here because this is a used piece. Now, one of the nice things about this little tub is that it comes with a lid. If you just want to use it like this, you just put the lid on, so that after you filled it up, you take the top off, you put the lid on, and then you can carry it outside to your rubbish bin to dump out your sawdust, so that it kind of contains it. Festool does sell plastic bags, but you can just use a trash bag if you really want. Just shove it in there. It'll be fine. So it's called the CTV-A20 because I believe it's 20 liters, about 5 gallons of total volume. If you're doing a lot of planing, if you're doing a lot of jointing, 5 gallons is not a tremendous amount of space, but it should be all right as long as you're ready to do relatively frequent changes. Now, it does seal on pretty tightly. Wow, that's pretty tight. This just sits in this tub. On the upper chamber, you can even see this little door. For about $40, you get this other accessory that you will extend the actual plug on your CT vac up here. That way you don't have to do all the bending and all of that. So that's kind of nice. Now inside here, we've got the Cyclone action itself. All of your suction comes in through here. It spins around this chamber, falls down into the chamber, all the rest of the air flow, and maybe some of the small particulates will then flow up through this tube out and then into that other hose that goes down into your CT vac. Now, putting it back together is fairly straightforward. Line up your lid here with the notch on the right. That slides into the port. This goes in there, and it's all pretty much together now. Then just close the lid, rotate the T-lock back, and then now you can put it back together. Just seat the lid on top. Now these are straps that are Velcro, so you can kind of adjust them if you need to. And then you just kind of take the cleat. It fits in like that, so go down from the bottom and then snap it. And then you just pull this up, and that locks under onto the bin. Turn this around. We'll do the same thing on this side. And we're pretty much ready to go. This is the CT MIDI 1. It's kind of the midline in the CT series. The only thing about this is it is one of the smaller in capacity. It's only about 15 liters in total capacity. It's small, but it does have a lot of punch. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the hose out. So we have our hose. We're gonna run that through the hose garage. I'm gonna plug that into the CT there, and that should fit properly. We're gonna add this on. Now there are some cleats. You could do this two ways. There are cleats that will work so that the back cleats here lock in, and then you can use the T-lock to lock it in place. Or you can use the older Sys1 style cleats, these here, and they have them on 4 different positions. So you just basically pull those out. And to do this, you have to do it in reverse orientation than we were doing it last time, because that's how the cleats are oriented. So they kind of slide down the cleats in there, and then you just pull it up, lock it in place like this. Oops, that up here. And finally, one more back here. And that works as well. So now if you do it this way, you wanna turn this around, because now this part here is facing forward. So let's see if we do that. We're going to unbutton this. Keep this off, and now it's just a matter of switching around. And then this should lock in place, just like it was on the other side. Here. From here, we take this piece, and this goes like that into that port. And then our old 27mm hose, we're going to drop in here, and now it's all ready to go.